another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Your host, Eddie Arnell, my man, G Witt, Mr. J. Lou. What's going on, fellas?
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up.
Tighten up, guys. Here we are again. Another Sunday, another game in the books for the two-tone blue. Titans were coming in 5-3, guys. They dropped a tough one to Kansas City last week on Sunday Night Football in overtime, 20-17. And after that game, we all recognized that we have a championship defense. Can't say it enough. To hold the Chiefs.
They proved it.
yeah. To hold the Chiefs to 20 points, man, was amazing. And then, here's the good thing about it, guys, is that they played well last week. All the guys were there. But then this week, bad news is we didn't have Big Jeff. We didn't have Bud. We didn't have Fulton, and Hooker was out. And then coming into this week on the offensive side of the ball, which we was getting Tanning back, we getting Burks back. So we had some people coming back, hopefully, to boost this offense. Titans win 17-10, improving to 6-3. You got to give Raves his credit, man. Once again, he's getting the maximum output for this football team. To move to 6-3.
Hold on, you get some feedback.
And out of these guys, let me see here where I got that feedback at there. There we go. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so back to it. So, G-Wit, give me one big takeaway after this game today, man. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, in all honesty, I think it's pretty obvious, and I just said it. They proved it tonight. This is a championship caliber defense, man. You missing basically 5 starters on defense, and you come out. And the thing that got me was really not so much the pass rush, although that was great, was that they were consistent in stopping the run. And to me, that is just so key. That was the one thing I was worried about with Big Jeff being out, because I know he does a great job of clogging up that middle, and you don't get a lot of runs up the middle. But they did, I think, overall, that D-line and the linebackers did a great job of stopping the run. The secondary coverage was great. There were a lot of coverage sacks on Russell, last name Wilson, today. And I just thought, really, overall, that defense just played lights out. Really, it goes back to what we've been saying. If we had an offense that was really if it was just average.
Yeah.
If it was just average, we would be at worst 7-1. Because, I mean, like they said on the radio this afternoon when we was coming back, the only game we've been out of really was the Buffalo game. Mm-hmm. So if we had an offense worth anything, really, in all honesty, we'd be well, I said 7-1, 8-1 right now. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, bottom line, this defense is just shutting people down.
Right. J. Lou, give me your one big takeaway from today's game, man.
Since G-Wee went defensive side, I'm going to go offensive side, and I know folks are like, "What are you talking about?" I think we saw the potential of what can happen when folks shut down Derrick Henry, because as quiet as it's kept, Tannehill won this game passing today, and they had to throw the ball a lot because the Broncos loaded up to stop the run. I mean, there were several plays. You saw their cornerbacks and safety shooting the run gaps. And you liked that you saw once the team settled down, because I think you had to knock some rust off from Tanny and the wide receivers. And let's just face it, the first few drops they had, you at the stadium like me, you heard the boo birds and it's in their head. And once they settled down, because I think Tanny started the game 4 for 14. Once they settled down and got in a rhythm, that you saw the difference between, and there's a lot of difference between Malik and Tannehill, but you saw the one big difference you missed with Tannehill being out in the 2-minute drill. Tannehill goes and gets you 7. If that's Malik, he's just not comfortable with that yet. And the 2-minute drill, we've been saying it forever, when this team runs tempo, it put them in a rhythm. And you saw that carry over to where the first time all year, we outscored an opponent in the second half, which hasn't happened.
10 points in the second half. 10 points
in the second half. And it should have been 17, 13 minimum, 17 at max. So I think that's the one good thing you can say is that you saw the capabilities this offense has when everybody focuses on Derrick Henry. And this wasn't no scrub of a defense they played. The Broncos was #1 pass defense in the league. So I think that's my one takeaway for a bright spot for the offense when there was several that wasn't so bright, but I'll give them that takeaway.
So here's my takeaway. And it's just a question. We don't have to ponder on now. We can discuss as we go along the show. Here's my takeaway. How is it that the defense can plug and play and the offense can't? How is that? So every week we've got somebody. So think about it. Terrence Mitchell, Adams, Walker, Joshua Kalu.
Your boy was on the field today. Trey Avery.
Trey Avery's on the field. And so how is it that the defense can play so well with plug and play players, if you will? No disrespect to them, but the offense can't. Just think about that. But anyway, so let's talk about this defense, bag. I got some questions coming in about the defense side of the ball. And so I'm gonna start off, man. Let's go ahead and give a game ball to Bowen and his staff for this game plan, man. And I mean, you just can't say it enough about what he did, how he was able to generate pressure without your leading guys in there. So look, quiet is kept, guys. This team is 4th in sacks in the NFL. Quiet is kept. And this is without Landry, your leading guy from last year. This is with Big Jeff missing. This is without Bud playing a full season. And so you got some guys stepping up. Walker, 3.5 sacks on the year. He had a 1.5 today. You had Edwards Jr. with another sack today. He had one last week. He's got 2. Weaver's at 5.5. He had a 1.5 today. So, you got guys contributing. And we talked about Weaver. Would he be able to fill in and bring that pressure from the other side? And so, J. Lou, man, it's good to see. And this is my question leading into that. Will says Byard has been non-existent. And what is our thought on that? And I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead. I know what you're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I'm on respectfully disagree.
Yeah,
you go
because I think that you're seeing a better version of the 2020 Byard when we talked about communication on the back end. So if you think about it, and they said it on the TV when I came back and watched the game when I got home today, Byard is the only starting DB who played today. Because this thing, Roger really wasn't a starter per se when the year came out. He was the third. So with Fulton going down, Byard is the only starting safety, and you're not seeing him be able to play as freely as he won't, because if you're again the TV version only shows so much than seeing it in person.
That's right.
If you see it in person, seeing it there live, he's doing so much communicating and making sure everybody's in the right spot up until the time snapped, and then he's making a play. So I wouldn't say that he's been non-existent. We're used to seeing him make the picks. Now he had one he dropped, I think, last week or whatnot. We used to see him force the turnovers, but I think when I say a better version of 2020, you see him being more of a coach on the field than probably what comes across on TV, because we just named the guys that he's got out on the field. I mean, he said it after the game. He gave Terrence Mitchell his kudos. He was like, he came in and got roasted at the beginning of the year because he was learning a defense on the fly. You got to think, you had at minimum 3, if not 4 DBs back there that just have been learning this system probably since week 2 or 3. And you're starting to see him gel. So I'd say you're not seeing the splash plays from Byard, but I think you're seeing his leadership back there on the back end, because let's just be honest, this was a game outside of the D-line just losing their mind and with the depth. I will say this. The D-line today shows that, we had backups on our D-line. They had backups on their O-line. Ours is just that much better. And that's been the silver lining where we've been able to get the depth with our DBs. But this was a game where you would think that Russell Wilson, especially given, and I know they had a receiver go down early, but with the weapons he's got and a veteran quarterback, they should have took advantage of these DBs. But I think I attribute a lot of that to Byard and him being, in essence, a secondary coach out there on the field.
And you said it before, J. Lou. You said it before. I'm gonna come to you, G. You said it before about how Hooker takes that coaching alpha of Byard, and he's able to play more. So now you see with Hooker out, what he's doing. He's doing a lot more coaching, like you said. And so, G. Witt, I'm gonna come to you, and as you talk about this, man, because Rodney asked this. He said, "What do we think about Walker and Edwards on defense?" And so, go ahead, G. Witt.
Okay. First of all, J. Lou, I agree with you totally. I think what people are missing about Byard, no, he's not making those splash plays, but you see him being the general in the secondary and basically making sure everybody's in the right position. Because if you go back and look at the game, one thing you're gonna notice about, like I said earlier, a lot of those sacks that happened today were coverage sacks.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's because Byard had everybody in the right position Everybody understood what they needed to do, and they were able to do it. Plus, you got to remember, one other thing that Byard's doing that he normally doesn't have to do is he's having to cover the tight ends, that are coming out on routes and everything. So he's doing a lot back there, a lot more than what shows up on the stat sheet. But guaranteed, you look at the all 22, I would put it like this: if Baldinger's is talking about him, you will see everything that Byard is doing.
Yeah.
As far as the D line is concerned, though, I was extremely, extremely proud of this D line. I mean, those jokers, you could tell they are playing free, and it's really wreaking some havoc on a lot of teams. They're not expecting it. I mean, these guys, the D-line coach, I'm going to give him his kudos. I can't remember his name, but obviously the techniques he's teaching, these jokers, you're talking about guys who were either on practice squads, down on the depth chart, or flat out just on the street.
Right.
And they're coming in here and they're making splash plays all over the place. I mean, nobody's expecting Mario Edwards Jr. to come in and get the sacks he's getting, or Walker, or, you look at it like Naquan Jones, who we've been wondering about all season. Now all of a sudden you see him, he gets in there, plays the run well, gets a sack on that. You saw Weaver play better today. So, yeah, I think this D-line, man, I think if Big Jeff comes back, man, it's going to be even more trouble, because now people have got to worry about, they're going to double team Big Jeff regardless, but everybody else is coming free, and they're loving it. You see a D-line that's loving what they're doing.
Right. So let's see. I can't remember, where was it at? Kwanye says, what was the continuous lineup outside by the Titans? One time, Pop-Tart, he was way outside. He actually twice. They missed it. They didn't call it the first time.
Yeah. And that's where you miss. So if you pay attention to Dupree when he plays, he's like a wide receiver.
Always checking.
He always checks the thumbs up from the officials. None of them, and they were in what's called a wide nine technique a lot today. We saw them lined up out, and it was just, I think we had 4 pre-snap line in the neutral zone penalties.
Wait.
So look though. So let's talk about that just for a second, because the last one that they called on Weaver, he wasn't offside.
He wasn't offside.
Matter of fact, if you look at when the official threw the flag, he threw it after the play had started. Like, he waited for a few seconds. So I'm like, that's like snapping the ball. That's offside. You got to throw that flag then. I mean, and he didn't throw it until like Russell was scrambling.
Yeah. So he was scrambling.
So I'm like, how? Yeah. But anyway.
I don't know what he thought. Unless he thought the linebacker who came up jumped. Yeah. But he really didn't. When you saw the replay, he didn't even get across the line before the ball was snapped. So basically what you had, I think what got him probably more than anything else is the fact they got to Russell Wilson so quick.
So fast. Yes.
And clocked him. And he's like, oh, you had to be offside to get that one.
Yeah. So 313 yards of for the Broncos today. Again, the passing yards are skewed because when you can't run the ball, you got to do something, right? You got to do something. You take away those couple of chunk plays they had, and they really didn't do too much. 6 sacks, 65 yards rushing, 1 turnover, and 4-17 on third down. This continues to be one of the best third down defenses in the NFL. And so you like what you've seen today, and we can't say it enough. And like I said, 4th in sacks, 1st against the run, and 8th in scoring. And so this defense, although there's not a lot of big names like you guys mentioned, they're playing lights out. And G. Witt is so funny, man. And Jay Lou, you mentioned it last week. Just a couple of years ago on this show, we were talking about if we could get a championship caliber defense to match the offense. At that time, that was averaging 27 points a game with Arthur Smith. And so now,
I keep telling y'all we can't win.
I know.
We either got a good offense and a suspect defense, or we got a strong defense and we got a weak offense.
Yep.
We can't. We said it before the season started. If the offense could just be average.
Just average.
Gee, were they asking for some of your catchphrases on here that you're not saying tonight? That's so funny. But yeah, so again, gay ball to DeBoer and his staff for getting these guys ready to play. And the issue that I'm concerned with is the health, right? We lost David Long Jr. again today. Jay Lou, I don't know if you heard about what happened to him. Of course, molding, you said growing.
So
stinger.
David Long Jr. was a stinger on the second time he went out. And if you looked at him after the game, I think it was one where Vrabel, being the coach he is, just kind of held him out. And then Molden, Molden, I seen he came off the field right in front of us and was limping and grabbed right at his groin. So you hoping it's just minor, because I think he was upwards of about 50 snaps. That he had no snap count today. He was in and he was back to being Molden. So you're hoping that short week though, you don't know what I mean. Again, he won't play. Yeah, I was going to say he won't play Thursday.
But man, me and Eddie talked about this in the stand. Man, you see the difference with him blitzing.
Oh man.
Yes. I mean, it's like a newfound thing, right?
Yes.
Right. I'm like, wow. Somebody knows how to keep the angle when they blitz.
Yeah. I tell you somebody else today I found out is a real good blitzer. That's Dylan Cole.
Yeah. Look, listen. We talk. Look, Dylan Cole, right? Dylan Cole. That's what he's good at. But they've got. So you got to again give the linebacker coach credit. And I can't remember his name, and Bowen. They put Dylan Cole in positions where he needs to be, right? Because he can't cover. We already know that. He can tackle. He can run. But he gets in a little trouble when he's putting pass coverage. But yeah, so again. You got to just tip your hat to the defense today, man, and just hopefully they can get some healthy players back. I just, like we talked during the week, I just don't see them playing anybody outside who they didn't play today this week against Green Bay. With a short week, you might see Big Jeff and them come back against Cincinnati and be ready to roll. And so let's take a look at the offense, guys. Because today we saw, like you mentioned, J. Lou, we saw what happens when a team can really shut down Derrick Henry. What's going to have to happen? And Tannehill. Start off a little rusty, G Witt, man, and of course, Downey didn't help him. He didn't help him.
And that's the thing we've been saying about Downey all season. Downey he's basically, I'm just gonna put it like this: he's a play caller. That's all he is. He has no feel for the game, and he really doesn't know what to do to help his offense really get in a rhythm. The offense did not click really until that 2-minute drill right before halftime.
Right before halftime. That was the best drive.
We were talking about it up in the stands. When your offense is struggling, especially you got a quarterback just now coming back, you go hurry up, man. You try to get them in a rhythm that way. You don't just let them keep going back in huddles and then, you calling these, I'm going to call crazy plays. And he was late on a lot of his throws. He missed a lot of people, and I go back and I said it, during the game, I went on that 2-minute offense when he took off and ran. Now, I understand he didn't want to run because of his ankle, but once he got hit, it seemed like it knocked the rust out of him. And for the
I was just about to say that.
You saw him clicking all the way through.
Yes.
So, he still, I would say this, he was going a lot with his first read, wasn't scanning the field. He did better in the second half, but he still was forcing the ball. You saw him forcing the ball in the triple coverage in the first half. You saw him throwing a quadruple coverage one time.
Yes.
He didn't get So I hope, even with a short week, they get healthy and everything as far as get recuperated. Tannehill plays better in Green Bay. It's going to be cold, so we're going to see how that's going to go. Hopefully Derek runs better. But right now, this offense is really, for the first time, me and Eddie was talking about it, for the first time you actually saw what can happen when they use both Hooper and Chig in the passing game.
Man, and Will was talking about more of Hooper and Chig. And so, we talked about that last week, J. Lou, that you can really build this offense off those two guys. Yeah. I'm really liking that they're getting Hooper more opportunities. I think he had 7 targets today and 5 catches for 41 yards. And you get Chig. I mean, Chig was out there running like he was Derrick Henry, running people over. And so, J. Lou, man, talk to me about this offense, man, what you saw and your thoughts on Tannehill being back today.
Yeah, this is an offense that continues to overcome the offensive play calling by Todd Downey, because I mean it's offensive to watch him, how he has no. So I have no problem with the Malik Reed option. I have a problem that you wait till the fourth quarter. On any other game, you're going to hand the ball off anyway because you're in field goal range and really you just need 3 points. But you wanted to be cute. Meanwhile, when it was 3rd and 2 in the first half, you take everybody off the field and throw a pass that makes no sense. So that's the problem. And as quiet as it's kept, and I know Malik heard, he's probably in his head, Malik's probably the only problem. If you go back and watch that play, he waited. He kept it in Derrick Henry's belly too long because
Derrick tried to take it.
yeah, Derrick just had to take it because if Malik pulls it out a half second quicker, the linebacker bit down and there was nobody around that corner. But that's just stupid play calling. You take Derrick Henry out on 3rd and 3 and you run the ball with Hillard. It gets only 2 yards. You take out a 260-pound back and put in a 195 back. Derrick Henry's falling for it for 3 yards. So I think that was part of give the Broncos their credit. They came in and said, you're not going to beat us with Derrick Henry. And I think you never got him into a rhythm. Everybody if you don't know by now, watching the Titans, that anytime Cody Hollister's in the game, it's a run.
It's a run.
He just ain't been paying attention.
I mean, 99% of the time.
99% of the time, that's a run. And then he's 9 times. So it's a run when he's in the game. And then if NWI is the only receiver on the field, it's a run play too. So, I mean, the offense continues to be predictable. Now, again, I think, like as I said, I thought the execution was better in the second half, especially all it took was Jeff Swain dropping that one ball and he didn't see a pass the rest of the game.
He should.
He was.
I told G. Witt to give him a tackle number. Give him a tackle number.
That's it. Yank him on out the game. And I thought for the most part, especially with us passing 36 times, for Tannehill to only be sacked once. I thought the O-line got better and jailed. I mean, Dennis Daly is still terrible. MPF he struggled in the beginning, and I think he settled down. But for them to only give up 1 sack again against a defense that I know they traded Chubb, but they traded Chubb because they got some good backups behind them. But overall, man, as you said, G. Witt, I can hit the ass Madden button on Madden and call better plays and tie down it, man, because it's no feel, no rhythm. And I don't know about you all, but watching the game, we change personnel too much. We change personnel every single play, first, second, third, every single play. You're running too many men in and out of the huddle, so nobody's getting in the rhythm. So it's time for Vrabel to just pull the plug. Like, you don't even have to tell nobody. You can just take play calling away from him, and we're smart enough to figure it out on our own.
Oh, we'll know. We'll know.
So check this out, and I want everybody else to hear this too. So in the game today, I figured it out. I figured it out, J. Lou, and I told G. Witt, and just see if you think the same way, man. Todd Downing, after he gets outside of that scripted, he just calls plays, no matter what the situation is. No matter what the situation is.
The prime example is the read option.
Yeah,
like literally, you just called
it was next on the list.
It was next on the list. Yep.
He's like, I hadn't ran that play today. Let's try that one.
He goes down the list. He has his script of plays he's going to call first. Then he just goes down the list of what he's going to call.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. And
no
we've been
feel.
saying it all season.
Yeah.
He has no feel for the game. He doesn't understand that if you got Derrick Henry, he gets 6 yards on the first run. He gets 3 yards on the second run.
You run him again.
You run him again. Because what have we always said about Derrick Henry from the very beginning?
He gonna fall and get 2 or 3 yards.
Yes.
He had 19 carries a day. Again, less than 20 carries again a day. So
it don't make any sense.
It makes no sense. And then again, where did the screen pass to Derrick Henry go? We just threw that out the playbook to get him out in space.
It gets him to Hiller now.
Hiller. Well, and then so everybody in America knows that when you bring in split backs with Hillard and Henry in the backfield,
it's a screen to
Hillard. I mean, it's not
or he runs a table route and he throws it to him. So,
it's really with Todd Downing. It is what it is. I mean, I as bad as I hate to say it, I mean, you're in game 9 right now. There's no change coming. I hate to say it. There's no change coming. But one thing I will do, and you brought it up, I'm still gonna give on as far as the O-line is concerned. With all the trouble that we have, I'm giving NPF his due, man. I mean, for a rookie, man. For a rookie, I just think he's playing extremely well. I was watching him today, and I was like, yeah, he got beat on a few times. He missed some blocks and everything. But overall, this is a guy that's, he wasn't even supposed to be out there.
No.
And he won the job, and you see him improving, throughout the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how well he can be. And you hope he continues to play well, because that helps J-Rob in the offseason looking for a left tackle. He ain't got to worry about the right tackle. He can just look for a left tackle, look for the center, look for another left guard, because Brewer is a backup. He's not a starter. He's a backup.
And Gino, I'm gonna give you props on that, man. You're right. Todd Downing, he calls excellent plays in the red zone. He just other parts of the field, other parts of the field. I mean, we saw that when Arthur Smith was here, because he would call the red zone offense when Arthur Smith was an offensive coordinator. And so, it's pretty funny. Yeah, and I agree with you, Nathan. Just like J. Lou said, I don't have a problem with the read option with Malik, but it's cold. It's like 10 degrees outside, and the man hadn't played a down. And you bring him in the game,
stuck him right in there for that.
And you give him the mentally aspect of trying to figure out, should he pull it, should he keep it? And, it's just not that point of the game.
Like you said, the problem you have with it is the fact that, he ain't played the whole game. It's cold out there. He's coming down. If he had played like maybe a series before then, his rhythm would have been better. He would have had a better grip on the ball and everything. But you pulled him straight off the bench and say, go run the read option.
Go run the read option.
I'm like, dude, really? This is the NFL. This ain't college.
No.
Come on, man. But, that's the thing about it. I will say it was good seeing the wide receivers get more involved with Tannehill out there throwing the ball, although they dropped passes. I was disappointed in
Bobby Trees. Yes.
It was just bad on his part. But again, NWI had his best game of the season.
Yep.
He
had to.
He had to. Oh yeah, I know he had
to. After what he said last week, but nobody talking about the receivers at first.
Yeah, but there was some good plays. That catch in the end zone was a thing.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh man, yeah.
I had to give him his props on that, and I will give Downing his credit for calling the flea flicker. That play. Go ahead, Eddie. I know it's simple play action.
So, what have we been saying? And everybody's in this group is saying it too, but everybody in the chat tonight is saying it. Play action. That flea flicker wasn't nothing but play action.
Yeah, yes.
That's all it was.
Yes,
that's all it was. That's all it was. Look what happened. It gets your receiver wide open.
Wide open. He just had to catch it, not drop it and catch it.
Play action, man. Play action. That's how you do.
But that's the difference you see in play calls, man. That's what we said about Todd Downing. He just goes down the list. He doesn't know. He doesn't look at the game and what's going on. This is the next play on the list. Let's run it.
Yeah, Nathan, you're right, man. He said Woods dropped at least 20+ yard gain on critical third down. Yeah.
Oh,
He wasn't the only one dropping balls today. Joshua Kalu had 2 picks, and he tried to catch it with his body. So he just used his hands. But when we stopped the drive down there when they got the field goal, he gets us a turnover. So, but yeah. So NWI with a monster day, 5 receptions for 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chig had 1 for 41, and the Hooper 5 for 41. And Burks, it was good to see Burks back out there. And even though he wasn't really impacting the offense, I'm not gonna say that, because he actually did. If you really look at it, you look what he did for the offense. He kind of opened things up.
That's what
because he's a threat, right? He's a threat. He averaged 8 yards a catch, 3 for 24, and so that's not bad for him coming back. He still got to get some game shape. That's why I think you saw him kind of on a pitch count, if you will. And so again, just nice to getting these weapons back. And of course, Derrick Henry 19 carries for 53 yards in his streak of 100-yard plus games at 5. And so, guys, I mean, it's ugly. We talked about it, but it's a dub, and we'll take it. 6-3. I think we all would agree, considering how this offense has been playing the last, from day one, week one, is that we'll take that 6-3 record and a commanding lead in the AFC South. Now, rolling on to this Thursday night short week, guys. Like I said earlier, I just don't think you'll see Big Jeff this week. I could be wrong. I hope he does play. But you got to go to Green Bay. Green Bay beats Dallas in overtime, 31-28. Aaron Rodgers don't have the weapons like he usually have, gentlemen, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. He's the reigning MVP. And he's not throwing for those big numbers, but he's accurate, and he's got guys out there that'll catch it for him. And so, G. Whit, man, talk to me about these Packers. And frozen tundra. You don't know what kind of weather it's going to be next week. It's cold down here, so I can't even imagine what it's going to be up there.
It snows on Wednesday, and on Thursday, the game time high should be 27.
Before you do that, G Witt, let's talk. We forgot to talk about the special team, man. Stonehouse.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
I-
man, Stonehouse.
Man, again, Stonehouse did today what I talked about during the offseason when people been talking about, well, Brett Kern will place it inside the 5. Stonehouse put 2 of them in the end zone that flipped the field because he was kicking from almost his own end zone. I think he had a long of 74. I will tell you something to watch on a short week, because I was wondering why Stonehouse was doing kickoffs. And 10 minutes before the game, they thought Slim Randy wasn't going to be able to play. Don't know what the injury was or anything, but Vrabel mentioned that directly after the game, that about 10 minutes before the game, they didn't think they were going to have their kicker. That could go into some of the play calling as we were getting into them field goal ranges, because who knows what his distance was. So I would fully expect to keep an eye on that. Especially going into a short week. But even Stonehouse, when he was kicking off the ball, I mean, he just it's
74-yard punt today.
74-yard punt, a 74-yard punt.
Man, I was like, I'll be honest with you, man. I've seen some good punters in my day. I mean, watching football and everything. This joker, man, I had to give him his props. I had to give him his props.
Right.
I mean, this joker is routinely kicking the ball 50, 60, 70 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he flipped the field multiple times. I'm gonna tell you like this, and he really, in all honesty, if you're gonna go back and look at the team at the end of the year, what you're gonna find out is that as well as the defense has been playing, and they've been playing lights out, I'm not taking nothing from them. Stonehouse is the MVP, man.
Yeah, yes.
I don't see how you can't give it to him.
You're talking about an offense that's consistently going 3 and out inside their up from their 30 back to their own end zone.
And he's putting it back on the 20.
Consistently putting people starting from at best their 20-yard
20.
line.
Yeah, at best the 20.
At best. Because there was a couple today, the ball bounced right. He got him inside the 5. I was like, dude, this joker, man. And he got that. You could tell he's been working on that. Ball.
Yes, because you saw there was a few times of it hanging up in the sky. You really could see it. I was like, oh, that looks good. Kudos to whatchamacallit too. I couldn't tell you who the guy was when they called him up.
CJ Board.
He did a phenomenal job on punt return today.
He did a great job.
So today you almost saw all 3 phases win. I'm gonna say the offense did win in the second half, later on the second half, and so you saw complimentary football, as Vrabel always preaches, played today. Complimentary football, especially when it really needed the offense to come through, they did. And like you said, Stonehouse 54-yard average again today, man. 3 inside the 20, and that 74-yard bomb there when he flipped the field position. So looking at the AFC South, Titans are 6-3. Of course, they won today. The Colts beat the Raiders, came back and beat the Raiders to get Jeff Saturday his first win as the interim coach. The Jags lose to the Chiefs 27-17, and the Texans lose to the Giants 24-16. Now, Thursday night, Green Bay, you said snow on Wednesday and then 20 degrees kickoff temperature on Thursday.
About 25 kickoff temp Thursday.
So, last time we went up there and it was like that, we called a beatdown. So and somebody said it, Eddie Gray said, now their offensive line got to deal with our defensive line. And so, they got to deal with, they got some guys that kind of young, missing some veteran guys in that line. But like I said earlier, Aaron Rodgers reigning MVP. Aaron Jones is a stout running back out over 100 yards a day. You got AJ Dillon. He brings the hammer too. He's the bruiser back. Alan Lazard, Jair Alexander, a lockdown corner. And, their defense is one of the best in NFL, 5th in total defense. Jits first in the pass, 26 against the run, and then giving up 20.9 points a game. Now, G Witt, talk to me about the Packers, man. What we're going to have to do.
So we know we ain't getting close to 20.9 points a game with this offense. So.
No.
Really, my thing is going to be, can we run off? Because really, that's what it's going to take. I saw a little bit of them today. Our defense, that run defense, is going to get tested severely because the Packers do have a good running game. Aaron Rodgers found his deep threat today.
Christian Watson,
that rookie, man, he showed out. So, not having Christian Fulton, it's going to be interesting. I'll see how Bowen directs this defense. Really, I'm not sure. I think one of the things that Vrabel was hoping for was a good win today. because we've seen him do this where he allows the NFC game just to be, if we win, we win. If not, we're not. But we're trying to come out of it healthy and go to this 10-day bye and try to get everybody healthy for the stretch run at the end of November and all of December and January. So I will put it like this. I know we can beat them. I just don't think we will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, J. Lou?
I'm 100% agreeing. We spoke yesterday with G Witt. I think these last two games before you get into this next stretch of runs, starting with Cincinnati, especially with the injuries, Vrabel's hoping you can get out there 1-1. And if you go 1-1, you get the AFC game and the NFC, and it is what it is. I don't think you see anybody that was hurt today that didn't play today. I don't think you see him at all. I'd give an outside shot at Hooker. Because this was the second week he missed, but I think that you're not going to see Bud again. I don't think you see Bud till Cincinnati. I really don't think you see Big Jeff to the end. I think the best thing for Vrabel not having to rush them was seeing what the D line could do today. Now again, somebody put in there that they got to deal with the Packers O line. Got to see us, and the Packers O line is better than the Broncos backups. So we'll get a real test next week. And again, I think we still could generate pressure. I think David Long is the wild card too. With that, I mean, the practice schedule this week is all walkthroughs anyway. Right. So it's just about how much you can get him over there. Because I really think you need him out of everybody. You'll need him because as good as Rice and Cole played, David Long is something different. When he's out there and able to help manage that back end. But it's going to be a cold game. I think we've got to establish. I think there's going to be a meeting behind closed doors because this is 2 games in a row. And granted, we went 1-1 in them, but it's 2 games in a row when you had a ticked off Derrick Henry. Man. Because you haven't been able to really get you took the ball away from him in Kansas City, and then you didn't really get into a rhythm today. And again, Tannehill. Now again, if we can come out again and Green Bay says we're gonna stop the run and Tannehill goes up there and throws for 250 like he did today, which I thought was efficient, then all of a sudden those holes start opening up a little bit more because you start seeing that our wide receivers are making plays. But yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers. So as you said, Ed, he might not have Devontae Adams, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. So he'll find a way to make it happen. But it should be a pretty excellent game, I think, Thursday.
Deion says he sees why we call him Fat Randy because he's using all the material in his belly and that jersey. He sees the blue thin around his midst. It's pretty funny. Will says we'll beat Green Bay as long as Downey misses his flight. And the gravy, play action first, man. You right, man. Play action first on the first play call. But yeah, so I agree with you both, man. It's gonna be a tough game. Like I said, he doesn't have Devontae Adams, like you mentioned, Jay Lee, but he's got Lazard, he's got Sammy Watkins, he's got Robert Tonyan, all capable of beating you and catching big ball. I mean, you saw what they did against Dallas, excuse me.
Dallas, yeah.
Alan Lazard catches a RPO and just about takes it to the house in overtime. And so a good stout front for the defense. Kenny Clark at the nose tackle, Jen Reed, Dean Lowry, Preston Smith at outside linebacker, got the rookie Quay Walker out of Georgia, and a good back end as well. And so, like I said, they are number 5 in total defense, and they're tough, and it's going to be tough to play up there. It's always tough to play on the frozen tundra. But like you said, Jay Lee, there's got to be a way to get Derek more involved and quit taking him out on and then being. That's the other part, man. It's so obvious, and we said it. It's so obvious what they're gonna do when they bring Hilliard in the game, and they do it every 9 times out of 10. They ran him one time today, but 9 times out of 10 it's a pass. So,
they're doing the same thing they did when we had Deion Lewis.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yes. And it's a telltale sign. You bring it when you take Derek, you run it Derek first down, second down. You're taking him out. You bring it in Hilliard, and everybody knows it's going to be a pass. The thing that's really bothering me, in all honesty, is that Derek has made such improvement on his pass catching ability. There's no need in taking him out on third down.
No,
there really isn't. I mean, this constantly taking him out, it really limits your offense because you can't run play action with Hilliard.
No,
people aren't afraid of Hilliard.
No,
they ain't gonna believe you when you fake a handoff to Hilliard. But fake that handoff to Derrick Henry and watch what happens. Everybody crashes.
Yeah, they got to respect it.
They got to respect it.
And it doesn't make sense because we saw it early on in the season where Derrick Henry was catching balls out of the backfield. It's now it's like, oh, we can't throw. See, again, that just goes back to what I said earlier, is that he doesn't have any kind of sense of the game. He just calls plays.
No, he just
and he
plays.
just changed personnel. Like you said, Jayla, he just changed personnel each play for no reason. And it's hard.
No reason.
And see, and that's another thing too. It's hard for a team to get in rhythm if you keep taking people in and out of the game. I've never seen so many packages. And it's not like you putting yourself at an advantage, because look at some of your packages. You got Swain. And you got Hollister. I mean, come on, man.
There was one package today that had
I saw it. Yes,
Swain,
we saw it.
Hollister, 86, and the other. It was 4 tight ends and a wide receiver.
Yeah. And then they had another formation where I think they went 4 wides, maybe 5 wides. They had Swain as one of the wide out.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm like, man, I don't know, man.
In all honesty, let's be real about it. We as fans, we understand some simple truths. And when your offense ain't working, everything sticks out like a sore thumb. And you can just flat out see this offense is atrocious. Yeah, I mean, and you're getting some dumb football being played out there, being called out there. You can stop and think about it. There's some. Todd Downing is calling some dumb football plays.
Yeah, and I don't. Gino makes a good point. They take him out on 3rd down so he can get some rest. I don't disagree with that, but it just seems like to me they're taking him out a little bit too much and being too predictable because everybody.
I agree.
Go ahead.
I think 3rd, and I don't have a problem with you taking him out if he's not your 3rd down back. However, I have a problem if it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 4 and
let's
didn't come out. Because that's short. He can fall forward for 3 yards, and then you open your playbook for so much more. Think about it today. And I have to go back and I have to really get the stats and stuff to back it up. But Todd Downing, we struggled with 3rd and 4 and shorter today because we just had the most asinine play calls that we could think of.
When you had your personnel was jacked up.
It was terrible.
I mean, you don't go with your power personnel on 3rd and short. You go with your sprint. I mean, it's just like we said, he has no clue about the game. He's just going down a sheet and calling plays as they come up on the sheet. That's what he's got them marked off. And he's probably got them marked off by quarter. He just goes by quarter. This is the plays we're going to call in this quarter. And if we go through all, if we so happen to have a great day calling plays and we get through all of them, then we're going to the 2nd quarter. We're calling those plays. Then we get through that, we call some of the 3rd quarter plays. That's why you see most of the time in this year, you see that second half, he has nothing left to call.
Right.
And I will say, to give him just a little due, even though it was still spotty at best, I think the 2-minute warning, this was the first time they came out, because really the 3 and out to start the second half was a penalty, if I'm not mistaken. We had a terrible call or something, because don't get me on them refs today. But I think you still saw them in the past. We've seen 3 and out in the second half, and we don't get into a rhythm. I think Tannehill, to your point, G. Whitten, I was going to say the same thing. When he got that first hit on the ankle running, it's like the light bulb switched and said, okay, now you can really play, because he came out and the whole offense looked fluent the second half. It's just, again, you've got they have to overcome their coach, because he's just calling plays to put them in bad positions.
Yeah, 6 of 16 on 3rd down conversions today for the offense. And so, and here we are going into the 3rd leg of the Green Mile at 1-1, which, I would take that any day, especially when your overall record is 6-3. The Packers this week, and then the Bengals, and then you got a date with the Eagles after that. And so the health of this defense is important, mostly. And we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be a tough game. Like I said, it's Lambeau, it's primetime television Thursday night, short week. Guys are banged up big time on your defense, but your defense is still rising to the occasion. And I mean, again, that just goes to show you how good of a coach Vrabel is, and the culture they've built on his team, a hard-nosed. Go ahead.
You didn't give kudos to your boy today, because I thought this was one of his better games.
He didn't have a sack, but man, he was in that backfield.
I thought this was one of his better games. The kind of goes back to that Byard situation we had earlier, where stats don't show it, but Danico was everywhere.
He was
today.
Right.
I thought you also saw where again, I think in the defensive room over there at the Titans practice facility, they're watching film and making adjustments. Because what did I say last Sunday or Monday about Weaver? He was terrible on containment.
He was better
did a
today.
good job today. He did
Yes.
a much better job today. So,
Much better.
Yeah, I thought Danico, man, he's again that is easily top 3 free agent pickups by J-Rob in his history that he's built the team. Easily.
Yeah.
If not number 1. Yeah.
And you said it. He didn't have the stats to prove it, man. He had quarterback. I don't know how many pressures he had, but he lived in that backfield. He kept contained.
Yes.
He set the edge, and that's what you like to see. He had to step up today because his dogs
wasn't there. Yep.
Yeah, his dogs wasn't there. Pop-Tart again. I mean, it was good to see Naquan playing today, playing good.
Yes.
Merch played good today. But Walker and Edwards, though, they really provided a spark for this defense and the pass rush they provided. And you know, I like the fact, and I know you saw Jay Lou, we ran a cover 0, and me and G Wick was like, man, that was a great blitz.
Yes.
And man, I mean, great coverage downfield. I mean, again, go ahead, G Wick.
I was just gonna say, man, I said it when we was coming out, walking back to the car and everything. Russell Wilson, he was hearing Flavor Flav in his head, man. Running for your life. So he was running for his life the whole game.
I think the official hit count was 18 hits.
Yeah.
On the quarterback. That's a long flight back home to Denver.
But if you think about it, on that one play where we got him on that 4th down and they called us offsides, he got knocked.
He got blocked. He took a shot to the back.
I was like, dude, I know he didn't want to come back for that one. He's like, yeah, he's gonna spend a lot of time in the tub when he gets back to Denver, man, because you know, we met Port Sierra. She's gonna be like, what do you want me to do? Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, I mean, he had 286 yards passing, but he was 50% on his balls today, 21 of 42. And so again, the defense played well. You know, and you talk about 18 hits on a quarterback. One of those, it was called for roughing the passer, which was probably that was more egregious than the Tom Brady one to me, because the guy, the defender, it was 59. I can't remember his name, but he gets blocked and he's on the ground. He rolls into him and he throws a flag.
And did you see how late that flag came out?
Again,
the flag came out once the pass was incomplete. Then we dropped the flag.
We knew it was going to be a long day with the officiating today when they missed out on that intentional grounding.
Oh
my, that's a safety. That's he didn't get outside the tackle.
He didn't get outside the tackle box. That's a safety all day long.
Yeah.
And Vrabel couldn't get no assistance from the side judge because he wouldn't talk to him.
He wouldn't talk to him at all. Yeah.
He wouldn't talk to him because he knew he's about to catch the business.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you knew then it was going to be a long day, man. I mean, you know, granted some of the calls were okay, but then you look at some of them, you'd be like, man, come on. I mean, you know, we were hitting that joker left and right today, man. That defensive line was killing them.
Eddie Gray said he needed to apologize to the refs.
Yeah.
So he gets on them calls again.
Yeah, this was payback for him sending that reply all email.
And then for all them extra Twitters they got from the Twitter account.
Eddie Gray said Wilson ain't doing all them calisthenics on the plane today. I'm like, no, he's not.
He's not.
Oh,
but he got a lot of ice on him though.
Yeah,
ibuprofen, some stuff.
He got a lot because he took a beating today.
He did.
That's one thing I like about that. Even when they couldn't get to him, they were hitting him.
They were hitting him.
Right.
He's tough, but he took some hits today.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us tonight for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Thank you for your comments, your questions, your support of the show, man. We appreciate all the love you guys give us each and every week. Thursday night game this week, so you know we'll jump on at halftime. So, hey, don't spend your halftime listening to those cats. Listen to us. We're going to talk about that first half and then be looking out for that show to follow to wrap up the game. But again, we're Halftime Adjustments. I'm Eddie Arnell. That's G Witt. That's J Lou, man. We appreciate the love, support of the show, and we are out of here. We'll see y'all on Thursday night at halftime. Peace.
Peace.